For day 7 notes, this is about factoring completely. So when you see the word completely, you should think of finding a greatest common factor. So think of it as GCF. Okay, so completely GCF. So I look at letter A and I look, okay, is there some number that can divide into 18, 33, and 12 evenly? And there is. It's 3. And so 3 is my GCF. So that automatically goes in the answer box. Okay, we're going to definitely have 3 as part of our answer. So now I want to factor the GCF out. And we've learned this way back in the beginning of this chapter. So if I divide, we get 6x squared, negative 11x, and 4. So now I look to see inside of my parentheses, and I see that I have a 6 first. So I need to do x factor with bottoms up here because this number is bigger than 1. So the 3 just comes down, and we're going to do 6 times 4, and that's 24. Then we're going to try to figure out the middle number. So now I need to find the factors of 24. So 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. So I need to know which pair can make a negative 11. And 3 plus 8 makes 11. So we want to have them both be negative. Remember, if you do the small number first, these have to match their signs. And negative make negative when you add, and a negative times a negative makes a positive. So we would have x minus 3 and x minus 8. And really, you're supposed to bring this 3 down. So now we have to do bottoms up. So we need to divide by this number 6. And the reason we use the 6 because that's what's directly in front of x squared. So I divide by 6. And I see that we can't divide by 6. It comes out as a fraction or a decimal, so we're going to reduce that. So 3/6 can be reduced to 1/2. And 8/6, that can't divide evenly either, but I can reduce it by 2. So that would be 4/3. Okay, so now what I want to do is I want to bring the bottom number 2 up and get 2x minus 1, and bring the bottom up and get 3x minus 4. So in part B, again, directions say factor completely. That means find a GCF. So what can go into 12, 46, and 8? Well, 2 can. So I'm going to divide the 2 out. Make sure I put it in my answer. And we're going to get 6x squared, negative 23x, minus 4. Now, I have to decide, is this x factor or x factor with bottoms up? And this is going to be x factor with bottoms up because I have this number 6, which is greater than 1. So 6 times negative 4 is negative 24. And I am trying to get to negative 23. So because I have the same number 24 as I did here, I'm just going to use this list of factors. So which one of these can get to 23? And it would be 1 and 24. And these signs have to match on this side. And now let's check. 1 minus 24, it is negative 23. 1 times negative 24 is negative 24. So I'm going to write those as x plus 1 and x minus 24. I need to divide by that 6 that's in front of x squared. If I divide, I can't, so I get 6x plus 1. I brought the bottom number up. Here I can divide to get 4. So I just go ahead and replace 24/6 with 4. Now, for the bottom 2 here, C and D, okay, again, factor completely. So what goes into 24 and 6? Well, 6 does. So if I divide 6 out, we have 4x squared, and then 6 divided by 6 is 1, so negative 1. So when I write this in parentheses, it's like taking the square root of 4x squared. That's 2x. And then the square root of 1 is 1. So we need to have a plus sign and a minus sign. Because if you think about it, if I went 1 times negative 1, I need to have a negative number in this spot. And then if I have that negative 1 times 6, I get back to negative 6. Okay, even here, 6 times negative 1, negative 6. So I need to have different signs so that I can be able to cancel out my two middle like terms and get this 4x squared minus 1. Okay, so letter D. What goes into 27 and 12? 3 does. So I divide, we get 9x squared minus 4. So now, take the square root of 9x squared, get 3x. Take the square root of 4 and I get 2. Again, it's got to be plus and minus.